All right, what's up, y'all? My name is Evan Strong, the founder of In the Image Clothing Company. Today is the 30th of December, 2025. This is a video on our main side. One of the fourths to In the Image Clothing Company is this, our main side, where we allow the body to work. Dante's here. He's just being the beautiful standard poodle that he is and just gazing out over what's behind me, facing me. He'll probably come over and around. He's off leash. We're somewhere where it's safe for Dante to be off leash, and he's a very obedient dog. This video on our main side of In the Image Clothing Company is titled The Natural Bend in the Knee. Okay? We just discussed the anatomy of the human body in depth and we allow it to work. Okay? The only end on getting the body to do anything is not that. It's impossible to train the human body to get it to do anything. No new information, no claim, no choice, no opinion, nothing to do with me, nothing I could take credit for. God's design of the human being, designed in the image of Jesus Christ. We're a clothing company to discuss anything that clothes the human body. We do the same thing on In the Image Clothing Company Poodles, another one of our fourths, for dogs. Letting dogs stay natural is the same thing as allowing the body to work, with information that applies to all dogs and most all animals really across the earth. Okay? We discuss eating and sleeping, standing, walking, sitting, breathing, hydration, everything we do as a human being. Same thing for the animals, okay? On In the Image Clothing Company Poodles. So, Dante's a healthy dog. I'm a healthy human being. What I mean is we preach what we have practiced, and there truly is only one way the human body could ever work. It's about gravity, really. There's a center line to the human body. There's a center line to Earth's gravity. There's just a neutral position to everything in the body. There's only one way it could possibly operate. The human body is just a mechanical machine placed onto a rock in space called Earth. It's our gift from God. It's the only thing that we have. There's an episode title of In the Image Clothing Company podcast, one of our fours, where we have discussions on the gospel of Jesus Christ, aka the truth of all things. It's titled The Only Thing That We Have. We're on episode 197 of In the Image Clothing Company podcast as of today's date, the 20th of December, 2025. The only thing we have is our bodies. You don't have to be religious or believe in anything or have an opinion or a view on life for life to be what it is. There's only truth to life. I don't believe in anything personally. The gospel of Jesus Christ or the good news of God is just the truth of all things. We're all human beings, the same thing placed onto the same earth. We're designed by one God. There's only truth. It's impossible to have an opinion on something unless there's first something there to have an opinion on. You can't believe in anything or choose not to unless there's something to have a belief for or against. There's only truth to life. No human being could decide. There's only one way the human body could ever work. No human being could decide. We didn't design it. We can't decide how it works. Anything that clothes the human body, though, is clothing. Glasses, jewelry, anything. And we live in this modern man-made world. Placed onto God's natural earth, there's a lot of things we deal with, unnatural materials in our clothing and our food. Eating is one of the big things we talk about. We just have to fuel this body for it to operate. The body is just something that operates. We do a lot under the gift of video and always will. Under all four sides of In the Image Clothing Company. And there you go. We live up Utah. Here we are in Utah County, Utah, in the United States of America. This is Spanish Fort Canyon. Dante and I do things in nature because we love nature. The goal is natural on all four sides of In the Image Clothing Company. There's no opinion to nature. There's only nature. Unnatural, artificial, synthetic. These are synonyms with fake. There's only natural. There's only truth to life. These things that we have nowadays are not real. It's in the literal wording. We discuss how words only mean what words mean a lot under In the Image Clothing Company, especially on In the Image Clothing Company podcast. Clothing has to stay centered, fit correct, where we discuss clothing sits for every body who has one, or everyone who has a body. This universal human design we have, there's only one way it works. Staying centered, fitting correct, and in all the ways we possibly can, living in this unnatural world nowadays, being made from 100% natural materials. Really, we just need to have it happen. Unnatural materials placed onto the body is the same as placing a topical cream on top of the body, or clothing's placed on top of our bodies. Truly, the only fix to human beings' physical problems is the only thing placed on us physically. So, I don't want him to lick this puddle of muddy water. If I start yelling at him, that's why. If he decides to try to lick the water out of the muddy puddle. Okay? I just could see that potentially happening. Letting dogs stay natural. That water's nasty looking, man. We have clothing needing to be natural. Unnatural clothing soaks into our bodies through the pores or holes in our skin where the perspiration or sweat comes out from. Things also soak into the body. These unnatural, synthetic, and artificial materials in clothing are poison. Watch this. Dante, come. Good boy. He was clear over there. He just like trotted slowly toward me. Good boy, Dante. That's a good recall, buddy. You got something stuck in your hair. There you go. Good boy. Good come. Okay. The body only works how it does. Okay, we discussed it. There's nothing to do with us. Don't believe me. Evan Strong, the founder in this for life as the leader of In The Image Clothing Company. Don't believe In The Image Clothing Company or anybody at In The Image Clothing Company's team, including our poodles like Dante. Don't believe Dante if he tells you things. Don't believe anything in life, and there's truth that always remains. There's only truth to life. It has to be there, or nothing would be. There's opposition in everything. There's opposition in all things. In the gospel of Jesus Christ, we discussed this. In the body, there's opposing muscles. Even in what seems like a push, we're just pulling muscles where they connect to bones through tendons at their endpoints together. We can pull muscles to close a hinge joint, and we can pull muscles on the opposing side of the function to extend a hinge joint. Even when our body is going farther from us, the human body only pulls. That's a video, the human body only pulls, here under the main side of In The Image Clothing Company. There's opposition in all things. The body's about rotations. The body's about its center line. The body's about Earth's gravity. Okay? Staying over Earth's gravity is the big point. The center line always remains. The sternum, the spine, the trachea, the nose, and our jaw. Dogs have the same things, by the way. The jaw naturally stabilizes the entire body. It has to stay in the center. There's only one way the human body could ever work. No opinion to have. It's impossible, physically, mechanically, in all actuality, to train the human body to get it to do anything. The only end is allowing God's design of the human body to work and letting God's design of the dogs stay natural. No opinion of ours, not our information. Bones are connecting to bones through ligaments. Between those bones, there's a layer of cushioning called cartilage to not wear the bones out. The bones are only shaped the way that they are. Muscles connect to bones through tendons. Muscles only pull the endpoints of where they connect to bones together. That's all they do. There is truly only one way the human body could ever work, and it's been this way since always, forever. Huh, buddy? Good boy. Okay, no new information. This is In The Image Clothing Company, though. What we do is get down to the truth. We put ourselves aside and get to God. Jesus the Christ. Okay? No opinion. Don't believe me. Don't believe me. Watch this. This video is titled, The Natural Bend in the Knee. Okay? The natural bend in the knee. The human body has bends. We're on Earth's gravity, after all. The ankles bend backward, so the knees above them bend forward. The hips above those knees bend backward. The lower back, or the spine, which is the lumbar, the bottom third of the back, bends forward. The mid-back, the thoracic spine, bends backward. And the upper back, really the neck, the cervical spine, bends forward. We've got this front-to-back snaking, if you will, in activation from the bottom to the top, and the body just stabilizes. The muscles only pull, so the opposing muscles work together to pull against each other, okay, to allow the body to work. There you go, okay, Earth's gravity. This video though, like I said, like we're showing, the natural bend in the knee. What we have is this bend in the ankles backward so that the knees above them can bend forward. We have to start at the feet. We're on Earth's gravity. The importance of zero drop shoes is a video under the main site of In The Image Clothing Company here. If our feet were just flat on the earth, they'd just be flat on the earth. There's only one neutral position too. The importance of even ankle flexion. The ankles point plantar flexion from their neutral, which is the surface of the earth, or the term zero drop in shoes, and then our ankles can lift up, which is dorsiflexion, lifting the toes. Pointing the toes, plantar flexion, neutral, surface of the earth, or zero drop shoes, the term. Lifting the toes, dorsiflexion, back to the neutral, the surface of the earth. Okay, these shoes are the Zero Shoes branded Ridgeway model boots. Okay, for credit, there you go. They're amazing. I love them. They do what Zero Shoes, the brand, says that they do. Live life feet first. Oh boy, do they. Okay, yikes. Here we go. Okay, let's talk about this, because neutral to dorsiflexion, lifting the toes, versus plantar flexion, pointing the toes, surface of the earth. Okay, zero drop shoes, you can never have heels under your feet. If you put heels under your shoes, under your feet in your shoes, under the soles of your shoes, under the heel of your foot, look at this. The lower leg bone, it's got rotations. Watch me do something. You watching me do something? The human body's neutral rotations. In the forearms, from the fingertips to the elbow, there's two bones, the radius and ulna. They allow for, from the neutral, with the elbows at the natural waist, keeping elbows at the natural waist, is a video here under the main side of In The Image Clothing Company. With our forearms bent up, thumbs up in front of us, from the fingertips to the elbow, we have that neutral, then internal rotation, back to neutral, and external rotation, back to neutral. Neutral, neutrality, Earth's gravity, center line. Centered pull to gravity, center line to the human body where the musculature connects. There you go. From the fingertips to the shoulder, there's a neutral. Then there's internal rotation, back to the neutral, and external rotation. In the lower leg, from the knee down to the foot, pinky toe straight forward, just like the pinky finger straight forward, we have internal rotation, and then external rotation. In that lower leg, there's two bones, like there's two bones in the forearm, allowing for rotations. Okay? In the entire leg, from the foot up to the hip, we have internal rotation. Whoa, slid off the side of this little gravelly mound. Back to the neutral, pinky toe straight forward, we have external rotation. In the entire leg, locked out at the knee, the foot to the hip is the same thing. Locked out at the elbow, the hand to the shoulder is the same thing. Locked out throughout the body, it becomes a stick, essentially, okay? At the elbow or the knee, really, okay? The jaw stabilizes the entire body. We put a lot of importance on the jaw under In The Image Clothing Company. The leg, okay, we've got this neutral position on the surface of the earth, feet flat on the ground, the only way they could ever possibly work until we had modern man-made shoe designs that put heels under our feet and put our feet into partial plantar flexion, or pointing the toes, plantar flexion, okay? That's the same thing that's happening if you put a heel under your shoe. Okay, watch this. I'll take this broken ceramic plate and I'll place it here. Okay? My foot flat on the ground is my foot flat on the earth that always remains. If I put my heel up on the plate, I'm in partial plantar flexion, okay? Partially pointing my toes instead of my feet flat on the ground. That's just how it is. Through the entire body to the tip of the head and the tips of the fingers, there's only one way the human body could ever work. The human body is just mechanics. A video Dante and I filmed a few days ago, give or take almost a week ago, here under the main site of In The Image Clothing Company. Hi, baby boy. What's on your face, bud? Probably just got some plant stuff on his face. Like these thistles, actually, I think is what it was. The human body, man, it's just about mechanics. The reason we can bend at the knees is because our ankles bend. If our ankles couldn't bend at one end of our knees, or our hips couldn't bend at the other end of our knees, the knees wouldn't bend. As you bend your knees, if you're standing, you're also bending your ankles. And really what you're doing to bend your knees is first bending your ankles. It starts at the feet up on Earth's gravity, but it really can be affected from the top down as well. The human body, okay? It's just a kinetic chain. Everything's connected. Okay? We put heels on our feet. Underneath our heels of our feet, we put heels on our shoes. We're pointing our toes. That's all we're doing constantly in life. So the normal bend of the knee, determined by the normal bend of the ankle first, traveling up on Earth's gravity through the kinetic chain of the body with its opposing bends. Okay? There's only one way it'll happen. Naturally, neutrally, normally. There's only one way the human body could ever work, and those are synonyms. Naturally, the human body would reside in its neutral positions, and that's just how it would normally work unless it was altered. And there's only one way the human body could ever possibly physically, mechanically operate. Bones are only shaped the way that they are. And there's only opposition. If there's not opposing sides, you'd never have any functioning at all. You couldn't move to anywhere if you didn't first start somewhere else. But then if there's not an opposing side, you would just move once. Be done. You go back to the neutral and you can move the other way. There's opposing things in the body, and it's impossible to train to a neutral. Neutral is the relaxed state. It's the in-between of the two sides. There's only one way the human body could ever work. The neutral to the pelvis is the same as the neutral of the foot. If the neutral of the foot is the Earth's surface, and from there we have lifting the toes or pointing the toes, which is dorsiflexion or plantar flexion of that ankle joint, which is the bottom of the knee, straight down from the knee joint through those two lower leg bones is the heel of our foot, where we pivot, okay? The hips are determined by the feet. If the feet are flat on the ground, the hips can be horizontal as well. The hips go like this. They tuck underneath us from their neutral and they go posterior. They come back to neutral and they go anterior. Okay, rotations of the hips. The hips coming up in the front or down in the rear, that's posteriorly tucking from the neutral. And then the hips coming up in the rear or down in the front, that's anteriorly rotating and kind of dropping and falling away from us on Earth's gravity, okay? We tuck our hips underneath us, but the hips are the feet. The knees between the hips and the feet can't bend. If the hips above them and the ankles below them can't accommodate. The only way we can bend at the knees is because the knees are just in between the ankles and the hips. So the natural bend of the knee is determined, the natural bend in the knee, this video's title, under In The Image Clothing Company's main side, it is determined by either the ankles or the hips. Because the only reason you're bending your knee is to move your foot or your hips. You wouldn't need to bend your knee if there was nothing on the other end of it. The knee's the in-between thing. You wouldn't need to bend your elbow, being the in-between thing from the hand and the shoulder, unless you were trying to get your hand to go somewhere or your shoulder. The elbow is just in between the shoulder and the hand, as the knee is just in between the hips and the ankles. Okay? The video Dante and I filmed here yesterday under the main site of In The Image Clothing Company is titled The Right Foot and the Hip. Okay? There you go. They're the same thing. The right foot, locked out at the knee, is exactly doing what the hip's doing. Just like the hand, locked out at the elbow, is doing exactly what the shoulder's doing. Okay? There's only one way the human body could ever work, and there's only a natural, neutral, or normal, meaning the same thing, bend in the knee. So this is what we have. If we have our neutral amount of rotation in the hips from posterior, tucking underneath us, to anterior, rotating away from us, deactivating parts of our body, just because of Earth's gravity, the more anterior we go with the pelvis, the more pull gravity has on our bodies. We rotate the pelvis lower in the front and higher in the rear, like pant waistlines dropping lower in the front. Gravity has a greater pull on our bodies, and then we just have a misalignment in the opposing muscles of the body that stabilize the body. Okay? So, if we have the neutral ankle bend, just being us standing on the Earth's surface with our feet flat on the ground, and with our hips in a neutral rotation from posteriorly tucking underneath us to anteriorly rotating away from us, and that angle being just the surface of the Earth on the bottom of the feet and the hips. Okay? Now, what we have between there is a normal bend in the knees just to stabilize the body. There's a normal bend in the ankles to stabilize. There's a normal bend in the knees to stabilize. And then there's a normal bend in the hips to stabilize and traveling up the body. Because of Earth's gravity, we can't be fully locked out. We have to be very slightly bent into ranges of motion, okay? As in the range that a motion has in the body, we just need to be slightly into that to have musculature activate and stabilize, okay? It just happens. The body is designed by God to work. This natural bend just is there to keep us vertical on Earth's gravity. The human body would always just work unless it was altered. You can have an amputation, deformity, birth defect, or major surgery that's altered your body, or whatever it is. There's still a universal human design. We need to get as close as we can to it in our own individualistic situations for the sake of things like gravity. So even things like prosthetic limbs, for the sake of an amputation or something, just for the sake of, yeah, man, I mean, that hits me hard because that's the point. Dealing with gravity, we just need even weight, on even sides of our body. When we've got musculature connecting from the outside of the body into the center on both sides and in the front and the back, and the human body only pulls, okay? There's only one way the human body could ever work. Activated as a whole. No compensation can happen when everything has its own individualistic role to play in the body, and it's just all there. Anywhere any of you goes, all of you goes. Okay? Blunt, bold, raw, and real in the Image Clothing Company. I understand the wind noise, if and where. Any surrounding sounds, if and where. Okay? So where I am here is standing neutral with the pelvis, neutral at the feet, and that allows, from the feet up at least to the hips, neutral bend to happen in my knees. The natural bend in the knee. Now if I put my foot up here, my feet are still flat at the same level as Earth's surface, or zero drop, the term in shoe design, which is the Earth's surface, okay, horizontal. the neutral between lifting the toes, dorsiflexion, or pointing the toes, plantar flexion. And in this position with my right foot up on this ledge, right around my left knee's height, and my left foot on the ground, my hips are also still neutral from tucking posterior underneath me or rotating anteriorly away from me. My hips are still neutral, correlating with the neutral bottom of my feet. Watch my knee. My knee here is determined by my ankle, okay? If we look at the height of my knee here, and if I'm in zero drop shoes, the term, or if I'm in shoes that are just flat on the bottom, like the surface of our planet, where our feet are, just horizontal, the earth we're actually walking on. The earth is a globe, by the way. But we walk flat on its surface. If we have heels under our shoes, it's like pointing our toes or plantar flexing the ankle. Watch how my knee rises if I point my toes, okay? From this horizontal, zero drop the term, even bottom of my foot on the surface of the earth. I point my toes, my knee rises. This is the same as having a heel under the shoe. What that does is change the bend through the entire body. What I can do here with my feet flat on the neutral, horizontal, zero drop earth surface is have a neutral pelvis. Now, if I point my toes, like having a heel under my foot, my knee will rise, okay? Hinging on the ankle, which is just the bottom part of the lower two legs, of the lower two bones. This is the big point. The bottom part of the two bones in the lower leg is the heel of the foot, where we place a heel sometimes under our shoes, which should never be done because it changes the mechanics of the entire body to the tip of the head and the tips of the fingers. Now, in order to have this lower leg, this just two bones from the knee down to the heel, stay in the same height as I point my toes or plantar flex my ankle, hinging on the lever of the lowest part of the knee, okay? What I can do is actually compensate with my pelvis. So as I point my toes, I can rotate my pelvis anteriorly away from me, and that's compensating for the pointing or plantar flexion of my ankle. Because if I rotate my pelvis the same amount as I'm pointing my toes, the pelvis being the top end of the knee and the toes being the bottom end of the knee, really the ankle joint, which is the same level as the toes, if we're flat, just like the pelvis is the same level front to back, if it's neutral on the same angle as the flat earth, okay? The earth is a globe, but the flat surface that we're standing on. Dante, come. Hey, come. Good boy. Good boy. Good come. Good boy. Okay. The knee's just in between the ankles and the hip. And so if we point the toes, we can anteriorly rotate the hip and the knee won't move in height. Okay? If we don't anteriorly rotate the hip while we point the toes, the knee moves in height. Okay? Where did he go? Dante? Oh. He's just the same color just about exactly as this yellow grass stuff. He's just right there. He's okay. He's a really good dog. What happens is we can have compensation coming from the hips if we have heels under our feet, lifting our heels of our feet, which is really just the other end of the knee in these two lower leg bones. Okay? And if we do have heels under our shoes, pointing our toes like this, plantar flexing our feet, what'll happen is we fall forward. You put heels under your own heels and you'll just lean forward and fall forward on gravity's pull, okay? Because you just changed your center of gravity by lifting your heels off the ground with heels under your feet in man-made shoes. Or we compensate with the pelvis and do what I'm showing here by rotating the pelvis anterior or forward, lower in the front and higher in the rear as we point our toes or plantar flex our ankle with our toes going down away from us by contracting the lower leg muscle, the calf on the rear of the lower leg. Okay, plantar flexion of the ankle is the same thing as anterior rotation of the pelvis. So if it's happening at the same time, the knee won't move. If just plantar flexion is happening, the knee will move. If just an anterior rotation is happening in the pelvis, the knee will move. Both of them together, the knee will stay in the same spot. There's only truth, okay? It's mechanics. The human body, that's all it is. It's impossible to train. You just got bones connecting to each other. They're only shaped and lengthed, if you will, how they are. There's only one way the human body could possibly ever work. Physically, in its mechanical operations, it's just what it is. Well, in all senses of what it is, God designed it. It just does what it does, and that's it. So, I yell about it, okay? Because it's the truth. Also, really what I'm doing mostly with right now is yelling over the wind noise. Dante, come. There's barbed wire there, bud. Come. Dante, come. Come. Careful. Sharp. Good boy. Good boy. Watch your back on the barbed wire, buddy. Good boy. We've only known each other 2 weeks, by the way. I adopted him from the animal shelter, South Utah Valley Animal Shelter. So, his level of obedience to me is insane because it's been 2 weeks and a day, as of today, that we've been together at all, okay? So, the foot and the hip is the knee. The knee is in between the hip and the foot. It only will do what it will do. The knee, it just hinges to allow operation at the hips or operation at the foot. And coming up into it from the bottom, there's 2 bones allowing for rotations, okay? Well, there's rotation in the entire leg as well, but the hip, the hip and the foot are the knee. Dante, come. Hey. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Oh, there's actually a Subaru now too, so. Anyway, the point is the hip is the knee and the ankle is the knee. Dante, come. I'll either grab this camera and take Dante with me and move, or the Subaru will drive away. I have no problem with them being here, but I just want to make sure that I'm a good owner and don't have them just off leash if they're going to be right next to us, just for the sake of being able to restrain him if I need to. Good boy, good boy. All right, so the foot with its plantar flexion by a heel on a shoe being placed underneath it will actually just excessively straighten the knee. If we have this natural bend in the knee, well, that's only coming because we have a natural bend in the ankle. The ankle actually comes slightly back from the knee down through that lower leg and then forward in the foot on the surface of the earth, because we're just bent slightly to stay stable and activated in the musculature, stabilizing the body. Okay, if we put a heel under the foot's heel on a shoe, we straighten the knee. Okay, or we just fall forward. You put a heel under your foot's heel on a shoe and you'll fall forward unless you get the motion from somewhere by straightening the knees. But now if you straighten the knees, you have to anteriorly rotate the pelvis, just because the motion has to come from somewhere. The body's all connected. It's just a mechanical machine, okay? And there's just a neutral to the bottom of the feet, to the pelvis, to the height of the shoulders, to the elbows positioning, all just determined by bones pivoting on bones, like the shoulder pivoting on the collarbone from the peak of the shoulder into the center of the body of the sternum. So anyway, in all truth, all opinions aside, throw them out the window, who cares? Clothing truly is the only fix to human beings' physical problems. It's the only thing physically placed on us. When we talk about where clothing sits, for everyone or everybody who has one, everyone has a body. Man, woman, tall, short, skinny, fat, any age, any part of the earth, any time period to ever be, we're all just human beings. There's only one way the human body could ever possibly mechanically work. You've got your differences where you do. It's still about breathing and the body stabilizing in every breath we take. It's still about Earth's gravity and the center line to something as simple as the rib cage. The sternum and the spine are the center to the ribs that wrap around the body. They come in and connect at the sternum in the front and at the spine in the rear. Clothing sits where it does. I don't even know if I'm going to say it in here. I'm not holding back any information. We give it freely. It's posted in many places, date marked and publicly under In the Image Clothing Company content. But that's the point, is the foot and the hip are the knee. The natural bend in the knee is determined by the foot or the hip. Pant waistlines have to be in the correct location. Feet have to be correctly working, not altered by shoes in any way. And there you go. There's only one way the human body could ever work. So that's what I'll say. Okay, you'll notice people stand with their knees locked out a lot of the time. Well, we've got different length toes. Anyway, we put a lot of focus on a lot of things. We put a lot of focus on. I feel like that's all I should be saying in this specific video. Dante and I have some things to do today. I'm really grateful that we got to document his recall in this video because it is really great. And that's him. I mean, I've been working with him a little bit on it, but I've only been with him for 2 weeks. He's an amazing dog. Okay, thank you. My name is Evan Strong, the founder of In the Image Clothing Company. Today is the 20th of December, 2025. I am in this for life, and so is Dante for his entire life, leading In the Image Clothing Company. Okay, so thank you, and goodbye.